pilfer whatever is on here for my own individual selfish gain. Where if you're always looking at something as a collective community, because you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about everybody else around you, plus their children, plus their children's 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 children. When do you have, when do you ever get a chance when you're in a system like that, when everything is about community, everyone and everyone gets mutually recognized through all of that for their own skills and efforts. They don't just get pushed to the side. Sorry, I'm just going to go through all these messages. School excursions should be run by Indigenous mobs and national park teaching schools. School excursions should be run by Indigenous mobs in national parks, teaching knowledge and land care to future generations. I tell you what, Elise, that is definitely something that every school, every government, state and federal should put money into that for mobs to take the kids out to the state forests and out to the national parks. Take them back out to their homelands. Give them back all these places to all these mobs, and then you'll find that they'll want to come and take the children out to those countries and teach them all about the foods and the trees. You know, life is going to get really, really hard here in this country. We are so susceptible to the most minute sort of earthquake that happens around the world. Because we've got the reserves of 3 weeks of fuel in this country. We are so screwed if everything shuts down. We've seen what happens once everything goes out in the shops. Why aren't schools, why aren't the government assisting to help children learn how to forage from their native foods that are around in their areas so they know what they're looking for? Food? Shouldn't they at least teach them, these berries, you can eat these berries, don't eat these berries? This is, there's no plan B. Plan B. They don't teach a plan B. It's basically like, this is life, and there's nothing else. And with that type of mentality, we will self-destruct. I had the craziest anxiety going through Sydney and going, why aren't schools, why aren't the government assisting to help children learn how to forage from their native foods that are around in their areas so they know what they're looking for? Because everyone's going to be screwed if everyone runs out of food. Shouldn't they at least teach them, these berries, you can eat these berries, don't eat these berries? This us being on property, being on country. That's where your property rights come from. So that's where this sovereignty and territorial integrity comes from. Yeah? If the water is sovereign, and you're saying, well, sovereignty is law, that's the original government, and then down from that, we've got tribal elders, down from that, we've got a committee of youth, down from that, we've got government that talks to every other government out there. And then you carry on with business like Yaji's doing. So I think asking for a utopian life in the city where people are expecting everyone to be equal now, where it's always unfinished business. People think that it's finished, but all the things, all the pain, all the hurt, all the things that have happened, that's in the past. And we're talking about property rights now, and those property rights, they're still valid, and those property rights come with a responsibility. It's a responsibility for the water. How do they topple the king if the king is a spring? You see? How does someone come in and hand a bag of gold coins to a spring to change their mind? It's not going to happen. So, we get back to nature, we go back to country, we set ourselves up, and we start communicating with each other. We start figuring out what can we do to fix our environment at the same time. Clearing and vegetation loss and animal loss. You know, these things can be implemented in time. That there can be grants given out from the government for mobs to refix all these type of things. You know, there has to be another way. There has to be another way, and I don't think the direction that this was going was the way to go, because we're still on the path of no return, where nothing has changed, nothing significant has moved them inside their mind. You know, now that this referendum is over, I really just hope all those people that did vote yes keep that same energy up. Keep fighting for rights for mobs across this whole country. Because once you know, you can't unknow. Once you learn about the disparities that's happened, you can't unknow them.